like an NFL quarterback.
It's great to follow Trevor Lawrence in those early years and that development, but I do want to point out the fact, Bucky, you were there during that Elite 11 experience, and we actually saw a little snippet of you there in that clip, which, by the way, brought me back to something else because I thought there was a little bit of a Fresh Prince vibe going on there with the look that you had going there, Buck. Had the hat tilted a little bit. I can be your Carlton. That's not a problem. I'm here for you.
Yeah, no, that look is a fun experience. Been around Trevor Lawrence and a few other top quarterbacks, but Trevor Lawrence stood out. He stood out because when he walks through, he looks like the prototype at the position. Obviously, you notice the long hair, but the arm talent stands out. Big time thrower, can make all the throws that you want to see. He was very, very impressive as a young guy making these throws. And then it's just the overall aura about Trevor Lawrence when he walks in the building. He is the prototype, and when it comes to a franchise quarterback, big, athletic, talented, but also has these leadership qualities and intangibles that you want to see. I think for someone who came in so ballyhooed and so celebrated, he was very, very humble and of the people, meaning he really was a guy's guy. And so I think those traits have come out, have continued to follow him as he's gone on to Clemson and as he enters the National Football League.
I remember going up there to Oregon and visiting with you and then talking to Dilfer up there and saying, okay, who are the guys? And there was Justin Fields over there who you were coaching, and then there was Trevor Lawrence. And I said, the guy with the long hair, tell me about him, Trent. And he goes, oh, he's basically an athletic Drew Bledsoe. And I was like, oh, okay, all right then. No, it was high praise, and you could see it, man. It was his talent was readily there for everyone to see as soon as he stepped on the field, and that goes all the way back to high school. From Cartersville to Clemson, Trevor Lawrence was destined for greatness.
Lawrence, touchdown!
How Trevor went from a top recruit to a top pick.
Trevor can be an international superstar.
Welcome back to Move the Sticks 360, featuring Trevor Lawrence. Buck, what do these numbers say to you?
Those numbers say that winners win. He's a big-time winner. 34-2, you see the completion percentage, the amount of passing yards is ridiculous, but then the touchdown to interception ratio, to me, it just shows that you put Trevor Lawrence on the field, he finds a way to not only get your team in the end zone, he finds a way to get your team to the winner's circle.
Well, when it was all said and done, Lawrence had cemented himself in college football history, and as he prepares to take over the reins in Jacksonville, this season could be the beginning of something very special.
I think Trevor can be an international superstar. You know, there's not many football players that become international superstars. Take the helmets off and, you know, you become a normal person, and sometimes you blend in. Trevor doesn't blend in any regard.
What would you give to just be able to wear Trevor's hair for like maybe just like a week? If you could just walk around with that mane for a week, what would you give?
Well, if I'd have known you were going to ask that question, I would have put my wig on, because I got a Trevor wig. I've got one. I've got a Trevor wig with a 16 on the forehead right there. You know, I don't know. It seems like a lot of work to me, but you got to worry about your shampoo and, you know, the flip and all that stuff, you know. But, hey, it works for him.
It's a shovel pass in the middle, and battling his way to the end zone, ETN.
What is it like to play with Trevor Lawrence? What is he like in the huddle?
Trev, he just cool, calm, and collected. I mean, he really don't voice his opinion, but when he do, everyone stops and listens. And I feel like Trev, the sky's the limit for him, man. I mean, it was really a great experience, a humbling experience for me to be able to play with the #1 pick. Those times you kind of take for granted, but looking back on it, you really see how special those moments was.
ETN is up the tackle. ETN, and he's breaking to the end zone.
Coaching against Trevor Lawrence, and then also seeing him, I'm sure you saw him on a ton of crossover tape this year. Just your take on him as a former quarterback yourself.
Well, you know, he's really unbelievable. I try to find a weakness on him, and I don't know what it is.
How about the touch on this throw?
But I think that one thing that I love more about him than anything else is just his demeanor and his approach to the game. I think that sets him apart from everybody else.
Well, I mean, we didn't really have an answer, to be honest with you. The challenges is that he is big enough and he can be pure in that pocket. He can do what the guys I've coached before can do, and then he can create. So we struggled. Again, best thing you can do is limit the number of snaps they get.
He's big like Peyton, but just a better athlete. I mean, he can just flat out run.
Lawrence keeps it, makes a tackle, touchdown!
And again, he's 6'6", 220, making those moves in the open field.
The rush coming, touchdown!
He's got skill set more so than, you know, Tom Brady's tall, but he can't run.
Lawrence in a foot race.
You know, Drew Brees is short.
A game-changing play.
He's 6'6". He runs like he's 6 foot.
Wow!
He's a unicorn, in my opinion.
He looks like a 10-year NFL veteran.
If you watch Steph Curry shoot the ball, it's just like you just go, wow. Just to sit there and watch this guy shoot a basketball. Well, that's how you feel when you watch Trevor throw a football.
What do you think that he has to continue to work on to be the player that we all think that he could be at the next level?
Well, we'll start with what he needs to improve on, and it's been something he's been working on since high school. He's got to become more flexible in his upper torso. So he has very poor thoracic flexibility. Therefore, he doesn't rotate as a thrower. He goes distal and forward as a thrower. So he tends to be wide and spread out at times. That leads to some of the inconsistencies. And that's the only knock you can find on Trevor, is that every once in a while a ball will get away from him when he's really trying to rip it or when he's rushed.
It's intercepted. We're out of time and intercepted. Lawrence delivers a high throw. He's just been off target tonight.
That's really it. He has as good of eyes for the game, as good a presence in the pocket, a feel for people around him, when to attack the line of scrimmage as a runner and when to buy time with shuffles and slides in the pocket.
Steps up.
A deep throw by Lawrence. Touch.
What are some of the leadership qualities that you've seen him display?
Look what Trevor did for his team, his city, his state, his country this year for college football. Trevor showed boldness in stepping out in front of the social justice issues. COVID, we want to play. He was a thought leader and a vocal leader at every area. And that takes courage for a young man to do. There's a lot of 35, 40-year-olds who don't have that courage.
Up next, Trevor Lawrence embarks on his NFL journey to Jacksonville.
I'm not expecting for anyone to hand me anything. I want to come in there and earn the respect and the right to lead the team. So that's what I'm going to do, and just put the work in, like I said.
Trevor Lawrence. He's the best player in the draft. He can do everything.
Lawrence goes to left corner of the end zone. He's in. Touchdown.
Big time premier talent.
Lawrence back to pass with the back of the end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
He's outstanding.
Trevor Lawrence comes out running the football. And once again, will keep it himself. And in the end zone goes Trevor Lawrence. He'll throw it across the middle. Touchdown.
Worthy of the #1 overall pick, which is what he's ultimately going to end up being. Well, here he is on draft night, Trevor Lawrence, hearing his name called as the #1 overall pick. And even though it was the expectation all along, Trevor felt a wide range of emotions when he finally heard his name called.
It's almost kind of like a weight lifted off my shoulders. There's obviously been a lot of expectations coming into this draft, and just nothing's like official, and a lot of things going on. And then obviously with my shoulder and all that. I'm working healthy, and I feel like I'm in a great spot, and my body's feeling great. And then finally get to experience this moment that we've all been waiting for a long time with my family and friends was really special. And just like I said, I'm just so excited to be a part of Jacksonville community. Me and my wife Marissa, we're excited to get down there, and really can't wait to go to work and just plug into the community.
Trevor,
what's up, Coach?
how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm anxious.
Well, we're about to make you the first overall pick in Jaguar football history. Congratulations to you, Marissa, and your family.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Meyer got a great feel from just talking to him on the phone, and obviously I'm excited to get down there and be in person with the guys and the coaches and all that. But I think the biggest thing is that he's a winner. You've seen he's done that his whole career, so I'm really excited to be a part of that. And then number 2, like you said, about just adjusting and adapting. I think that's something I do well, just because I want to earn the respect of everyone around me, the teammates, coaches. I'm not expecting for anyone to hand me anything. I want to come in there and earn the respect and the right to lead the team. So that's what I'm going to do, and just put the work in. Like I said, coming in, I don't have any expectations from anyone else other than myself. I expect to perform well and to adjust quickly and to be ready to go. And that's just something, I expect a lot out of myself. So that's where I'm at mentally. And then from there, like I said, it's just about earning. I think the biggest thing is the respect and trust of your teammates. And I mean, without that, it doesn't really matter what you expect going in. You got to earn that first. So I'm going to take it step by step. But like I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to prepare to be the best I can be and put us in the best chance to win.
Well, Trevor Lawrence becomes the 4th quarterback selected in the first round by the Jacksonville Jaguars, joining Leftwich, Gabbert, and Bortles. The expectation, at least on my end, and I think most people's end, is it's going to be a little different here with Trevor Lawrence, and I know his new head coach agrees.
I won't run through the whole checklist, but in going through your checklist, I have to believe Trevor Lawrence hits about all of them.
Daniel, the thing that was really neat, our owner, Shad Khan, really wanted Trevor right out of the get-go. When the first time I spoke to him, and I explained to him that this is arguably the biggest decision, that I'll make, certainly in professional football in this organization. I said, let us do our work. Let us. I love Trevor. I've known him a long time. I witnessed it, but I have 2 veteran NFL quarterback coaches in Darrell Bevell and Brian Schottenheimer. Let us go to work for a month. And our coaches did. And I always like to, you earn things. And the really cool thing is that in the Jaguars' opinion, Trevor Lawrence earned the right to be the first pick. And that was through the Zoom calls, multiple. We were testing him, quizzing him, grinding him. And he passed with flying colors, so he did a great job.
Well, Buck, I don't know if you know this, but I have the ability to see the future. And I can actually see how Trevor Lawrence is going to progress in his career, as well as physically how he's going to age. You ready? You want me to show you my secret powers here?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's look at it. Let's start year 1. He's always going to do is throw 32 TD passes. He's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year as a 22-year-old. Now let's age him a little bit. Let's get to age 28. Now, he's got 4 Pro Bowls under his belt, 3 playoff appearances there with the Jags. Fast forward to age 35. Whoa, he got a haircut. That's big news. But he's celebrated as the best quarterback in Jags history. And then now we go all the way to 55. The hair's long again, and he's back at Cartersville High School, and he's won multiple Georgia 4A state championships. So, some people just try and project out what a rookie season's going to look like, or maybe a career. But I took you to age 55. What else do you need?
Yeah, what else you need? I think the one thing that was synonymous with Trevor Lawrence throughout your predictive analysis was his ability to win and win big. I know the Jaguars are excited to have him. I think it's going to be a perfect marriage when you think about the franchise quarterback in Lawrence and the talent that they're accumulating under Urban Meyer in that front office.
You think they can get this up and running and win some games here early on?
Yeah, I think so. I think just the overall culture change, and with Trevor Lawrence coming in, I think, look, this is a very experienced coaching staff. I feel like they know what they're doing. I believe they'll be a very competitive team in year one. Don't know how many wins that'll translate to, but I expect this to be a very competitive team right out the gate.
I'm curious with the voices in the offensive room. You heard Coach Meyer talking about Schottenheimer as well as Darrell Bevel. What do you think this offense looks like, Buck? This is different than what he did at Clemson.
Yeah, much different than what he did at Clemson. I think it's going to be a run-heavy offense. I think they're going to pound the rock. Obviously, the experiences that both guys had with Russell Wilson, particularly Bevel when Russell Wilson was young, I think that helps it. The running game has to be key. They have 3 running backs in the fold: James Robinson, Carlos Hyde, and then Travis Etienne. They're going to run the football and they're going to throw it all over the yard. Run, play action, play defense is the formula.
No doubt. Well, this has been fun, and as you can see there on the bottom, if you enjoyed this, I promise you're going to enjoy the Move the Sticks podcast. Just download it, go to NFL.com/podcast or your favorite podcast provider, and be on the lookout for all of our other 360 episodes as we continue to do a deep dive on some of the top prospects in the recent NFL draft. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll catch you next time right here on Move the Sticks.
He is one of the top athletes I have ever coached.
He's never met a throw he didn't like.
Zach goes for it all.
At any time, he can make that game-breaking play.
Wilson, touchdown.
He has a definite swagger.
He's got this gleam in his eye.
There's intangibles there. To be at the level Zach's at, you have to have that.
Hey everyone, it's Daniel Jeremiah from Move the Sticks.
And I'm Bucky Brooks, and this is Zack Wilson's 360.
With the second pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Zack Wilson, quarterback, BYU.
What's up, everybody? DJ and Bucky back with you. And not a surprise to see Zack Wilson hear his name called by the New York Jets, because if at the bottom of the screen you've been listening to the Move the Sticks podcast, NFL.com/podcast, you've been watching our videos, NFL.com/MTS video. Buck, we've been saying this for a long time.
We have been saying it for a long time, and the 360 series is your opportunity to really do a deep dive into Zack Wilson, who he was coming up, who he is as a player, and who he could be when he gets to the National Football League. We're going to talk to his coach, Kalani Sitake, about him coming up. We're going to put together a plan for Zack Wilson, and we're going to predict the future of how Zack Wilson is going to play and beyond.
Yeah, well, let's get it kicked off here as we do a deep dive on the Jets' new signal caller with his college head coach, Kalani Sitake, who he had identified Wilson very early on in his prep career, but it wasn't just for his exploits on the football field.
Touchdown, BYU! A spin, a dive, and a score!
Wilson looking at the end zone. He has a man. Touchdown!
Can we go back to high school with him? What was it about him that got you excited about him to bring him into the program?
Well, what got me excited is that he's a multi-sport athlete. He plays a lot of different sports, starting point guard on his basketball team, loves competing.
Beautiful pass.
So to me, it's like he wasn't just a specialized guy that just threw the ball and that's all he did. He could do a lot of different things. And he had the toughness that he could play safety, he could do whatever he wanted, you know. And for me, it was like, okay, this guy's got it. I think it's important for guys to learn how to play football, but also learn how to play basketball. I think basketball is a great sport for football players. Great agility. I mean, LeBron James could play football. You know, Allen Iverson is a great football player. So I think it correlates to being a great athlete on the field.
Touchdown Chargers, and Zack Wilson right on the money.
He has a definite swagger about him, I think, that pushes him and maybe pushes the people around him and leads him to success. So he's definitely pretty confident.
That's been a common denominator whenever we've talked to people about Zack. We've heard confidence, swagger, and those things. Yeah. So what is it like when the first time you interact with him?
So he was young. He was like, I think he was probably a fifth grader. His dad was coaching him in Little League football, and we were at a different high school at the time, and they were in that boundary. So I got to kind of know him young, but you could definitely tell, like, he was a confident kid even at that age, but talented. Like when I would watch him even just through movement or throwing the ball, he was just a really good athlete, and you could tell that he was going to, be successful as an athlete.
You talked about his swagger, but we also hear a lot about Zack's competitiveness.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples of that competitive side coming out where you've had to maybe either harness it or anything?
Oh man, there's been a few. He liked to run guys over in high school, and I was always worried we were going to lose him, so that made a concern. We were in a really cold weather game, and he scrambled out and put a pretty good shot on this linebacker. And I was talking to him on the sideline. I'm like, hey, you got to get down. Like, don't. He's like, man, that felt good. He just loves that kind of stuff.
Speaking of the fun stuff, obviously we see these wild throws when he's at BYU, when he's at his pro day.
Oh my goodness, that is just a silly throw.
What is the best throw that you ever witnessed while you were coaching?
We were playing Highland in the playoffs where he had to scramble out, was getting, couldn't really get his hips squared around, and was able to kind of throw it back to his left a little bit to the hash, from the numbers to the hash. That was a big throw. It was about 60-yard throw that was pretty special.
Now he's going to throw deep. He has a man wide open downfield, and Noah Kerr has the football.
How good of a basketball player was Zack?
He was an exceptional basketball player, had exceptional speed, just a great feel for the game.
Zack Wilson knocks down the three.
If you're a great athlete, every one of them has an arrogance about it. And that's why he's where he's at right now, is because no shot's a bad shot.
Zack Wilson with a big bucket.
I can get by anybody.
And a beautiful move. He finishes.
To be at the level Zack's at, you have to have that. And that's what kind of separates him from a lot of different players, is he believes he can do everything. And that's a good thing. And at the same time, as a coach, you've got to kind of wrangle some of that in, but at the same time, you don't want to take it away, because that's who makes him who he is.
Coach, we were talking a little bit before we came on, and you mentioned the fact that you're a Packer fan. So you travel back to Wisconsin, try and get a game at Lambeau each and every year. I'm curious, take your coach hat on, just put your fan hat on a little bit. You've watched a lot of Aaron Rodgers over the years. You follow Zack. Do you see any of those similarities that we see?
I do. I love Aaron Rodgers, but I think Zack is a far superior athlete to Aaron Rodgers, and I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion.
Has a window, and Chevy's in for the score.
But I think Zack, like I say, that the accuracy in an NFL game is still yet to be proven. but I think he has all those intangibles that a lot of people that don't know, I don't care what sport it is, there's intangibles there that some people have and some players don't. And Zack has those intangibles. Those are things that can't be coached. Those are things that you have to do on the fly to make something out of nothing. And so I do think Zack has a lot of tools in the bag that when he gets there, people are going to be very surprised.
What I love about all those conversations, Buck, is the fact, and it started with Kalani Sitake, as head coach at BYU, the fact that it was his ability to play basketball as well as football that they feel like was key in his overall development. And I feel like we preach this all the time on the Move the Sticks podcast. We are the champions of this cause. Do not specialize. Play as many sports as you can.
Yeah, multi-sports athletes, it's been proven time and time again that those guys go on to have success beyond high school, college, and even in the pros. And so when you think about the quarterback position, having a guy who has honed his craft in another sport, it helps him play quarterback at a higher level. Basketball, we've heard so many coaches come on and talk about basketball, not only the athleticism, but the court awareness and the vision and how it translates to success when you get on the grass. And so Zack Wilson, obviously in the clips you saw, he's a terrific basketball player. I think that certainly plays out when you watch him play quarterback at BYU.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up on this one. To me, when you watch those basketball clips, I see somebody that's very fluid and smooth. And when you watch him on the football field, you see the same thing. Zack Wilson is a smooth customer.
Coming up next on Move the Sticks 360.
He just always is so willing to push through, like give me that tough throw.
Zack Wilson's perseverance pays off at BYU.
Welcome back to Move the Sticks 360 as we're looking at Zack Wilson. And Buck, check out these numbers from his final season.
A big-time jump from the previous year, but you see it. I mean, he was one of the top passers and playmakers in all of college football. You see the percentage, the passer, touchdowns to interception. Everything that Zack Wilson did in 2020 was spectacular. One of the reasons why the Jets felt so strongly about taking him number 2 overall.
Well, the numbers don't tell the whole story either, as you're going to find out here. His confidence and composure also made his teammates much better.
The set, the fire for the end zone. Carter Wheat is there, and touchdown Cougars!
He's never met a throw he didn't like.
That's another knife right there.
He's got the arm strength. He's got the mobility.
Touchdown BYU!
he's never seen a challenge that he was afraid to rise to.
You always talk about toughness when it comes to your program. When were you able to identify the toughness that you feel like is necessary to be the starting quarterback for your program?
Well, I think toughness is a relative term, so it's used in so many different ways. For me, it's toughness is showing up on time, being responsible and accountable for what you say, being a good friend. That's what toughness is to me. And I've seen him do all those things. I've seen him, when he's struggling with his own injuries, look out to serve others. He is a tough man because he does all the things that you ask of him, and then more.
Wilson rolls, feels the pressure, deep heave, and what a catch made, Dax Milne.
Zack Wilson was your roommate. Do you have a favorite throw, like a favorite memory of a throw that happened in a game that you're just like, wow, that is one remarkable throw that my man just put up?
Yes, it was, he rolled out right. I was on a go route on their sideline, and he rolled out opposite of me, and I thought he was, just kind of counting me out. But I just stayed running on the opposite sideline, and all of a sudden he turned, and I seen the ball go up in the air.
Wilson going deep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the farthest throw I've ever seen.
Wilson toward the end zone.
The ball stayed in the air for forever, and finally came down to me, and I scored.
And it is caught! Milne, touchdown! Take a bow.
You played at BYU, had a terrific career at BYU. I played with some BYU players, Ty Detmer and Jim McMahon, and it's always been a thing where BYU develops quarterbacks. What is it about your experiences at BYU that enabled you to not only play in the National Football League, but to now pass on that knowledge to others who aspire to play at that high level?
Yeah, it is a special group there. There's been a lot of great quarterbacks that have come through, and I know in my time there with that legacy of quarterbacks that have gone before me, you want to be a part of those guys. There's a high expectation that's there when you're the quarterback of that university, but it's exciting to be a part of it. It's a great challenge. And when things are good, it's usually because the quarterback position is rolling there.
Wilson, there is Bushman, touchdown BYU.
I had a chance to meet Zack during his freshman year, and it's been great. It's been great to see his development as a player. He's the type of guy that's going to go back and watch every single game 3 times, and he's going to go and take notes every single time of, all right, here's what I did then, what can I do now? And to see that coupled with every day he came out here and worked with us, it was always about what can I do to improve my game to take myself to the elite level.
Wilson into the end zone, and it is hauled in for the touchdown.
I've seen him get frustrated, like all great competitors, but I've never seen him without his confidence. And, he had a real challenging sophomore year, and through all of that, I saw a guy who was not physically, certainly at his best, but still go out there and play and believe that he could get the job done and believe that he was the best guy for the job.
And it is caught in the end zone.
What a throw.
You get this sense that he just always is so willing to push through, like, give me the next challenge, give me that tough throw, because even if I don't get it today, I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to be aware of what I need to do, and when I come back, I'm going to want to show you that I can make that throw. That's the thing that I really loved about the way that Zack approached things. It was just this excitement for give me that challenging throw.
Coach, as an offensive coordinator and a play caller, it has to be a challenge to take someone who is very gifted like Zack. How do you harness his talents to make sure he plays within the confines of the offense while allowing him to also be creative with his talents?
This past year in particular, there weren't very many times where we were saying, be careful. There were very, very few times that we were saying, hey, now remember this. It was more or less just calling the play and then, hey, Zack, go do your thing. And we trusted him that when we didn't have the best play call, that he could find a way to run around and still make something out of it.
Stretching it for the goal line, give him 6.
The one thing that I think we really tried to do, especially this year, is just try to keep him protected, and so we did not run a lot of 6-man protection. We were a lot of 7-man protection with the idea that if we were going to throw the ball down the field, then let's protect him and let's make sure that he's not getting blindsided.
Wilson shuffles and right to the goal line. It's caught. Touchdown, Isaac Rex.
When Zack Wilson steps into the huddle, how's his leadership ability conveyed to his teammates?
I would start by saying that he's done the work ahead of time so that when he does step into the huddle, he's already got their respect because they know no one knows more about that opponent than he does. No one has spent more time with them saying, hey, come on, come up here, on June 13th in the summer at 8:30 p.m. because he's not doing anything. He's going, hey, let's go up to the field and throw for a little bit. On January 20th, when a lot of guys aren't watching football at all and their coaches are on the road recruiting, he's watching film. And, he's texting saying, hey, coach, did you see the Rams do this year? Did you see this concept? I really like that. You think we could do that? He truly is a football junkie and loves the game, loves the mental challenge of it. I would say the last thing is he's got this gleam in his eye, this excitement for the game, in which people see that and go, all right, I think something really cool is about to happen because of that twinkle I see in this guy's eye.
Great work there by Buck, talking to all those sources there at BYU. And as you compare him side by side with the Hall of Famer Steve Young, the numbers are quite impressive. You look at the exact same number of touchdowns. Really incredible. Steve Young was at 71% in 1983. That is nuts. But a big-time career there for Zack Wilson with the Cougars. Still to come on Move the Six 360. From BYU to Broadway, Zack Wilson has Jets fans excited that Gang Green can be great.
This is a team game. You can go from a losing season one year to a winning season the next. You can flip it real quick.
Joe, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. When did you start playing football?
7 years old.
7 years old. Just remember, man, have fun. This is still that same game that you started playing when you were 7 years old.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you guys everything I got.
I know you are.
Coach.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, bro. Congratulations, man. It's freaking unbelievable.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey.
I'm pumped.
You know how exciting this is, man. I'm pumped for you. I'm pumped for your family. The biggest thing I want to tell you, just remember this. This organization is going to lift you, not the other way around. You feel me? This is all about this. Just enjoy this day. What a freaking moment. What a freaking moment. It's going to be all gas from here on out. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
How you doing? Congratulations. I think I probably know more about you than I know about my own kids. But yeah, we're so happy. We're so happy to have you. You're gonna love it here, and and I can't wait to see you.
Well, let's hats off there to Coach Sala with the Friggins. I'm a big fan of Friggin. That's a nice selection, choice of words there. Zack Wilson, we saw him here on draft night, walking down the runway, accepting the jersey, becoming the second overall pick, and had a chance to listen to him on draft night. Sounds like he's ready to go.
When I made my decision to come out of college, it was because I felt like mentally, physically, I was ready for the NFL game. I felt like my maturity, my ability to pick up an offense, be able to, connect with the guys around me was ready to go. And so when I decided to come out, that was the decision I made is that I got to be ready to play in the NFL. So, I'm excited to take this full on because, since I was 7 years old, we've been working on how to handle to be an NFL player. I think what makes something so special is being able to be a part of something and make something special. When a team isn't doing super well and you can go in there and actually be a key piece into what actually flips that organization around, I think that's so special. And so I'm so excited, me along with this new coaching staff as well, to go in there and try and do the best that we can to flip this thing around. Well, I think it's so similar to BYU, the ability to, tons of shifts, motions, a little bit of pro style under center, pushing the ball down the field, play action pass. I think that West Coast style offense that Coach LaFleur and Coach Sala are going to bring in is exactly, if I had to write exactly the offense I'd want to play in, it would be right there. I got a taste of it going through this whole, recruitment process, trying to figure out, the things that we like and don't like. But, I think the coaching staff is exactly what I needed and the scheme is right there. So I can't wait to start learning it. The Jets are going to get a guy that, I'm a big believer in bringing the guys around you together, having a strong connection with them. So that's a leader I'm going to be, the man that they can look up to, they can call for any advice, any help that they ever need. And then, as a player, I'm going to make sure I'm in the facility every single day, giving it everything I have, because I want to, do whatever I can to make sure that this team is on the right track and we're getting all the right things done. McCown gave me some of the best advice. He was just talking about how amazing of a situation this is, how he came from a small town in Texas, I believe. And that, he never wanted to go to the big city, and he got there to New York and he loved it. And he said he loved living in Jersey and he loved the culture and he loved that, the atmosphere and culture Joe Douglas was bringing in and some of the hires that he made. And he just felt like that team was right there on the rise. And so I thought that was so cool to hear that from him.
Yeah, pretty cool there to have a conversation with Josh McCown. And Buck, as we're trying to look to the future here, I understand you have some special powers that can guide us not only through the first season for Zack Wilson, but through his entire career, as well as the aging process. That's the kind of ability you have.
That is kind of ability. So I'm going to tap into some of those powers. I'm going to channel my Johnny Carson and see if I can do that. And here we go. First year as a rookie, 17 games, leads a dramatic fourth quarter win over Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, the team to beat in the AFC East. He goes on to throw for, first Jets quarterback to throw over 4,000 yards since Broadway Joe Namath. 3 playoff appearances for the Jets. You have to be excited if you're in Broadway. Does everything to surpass Joe Namath. I wonder if he's going to wear the mink and all that other stuff. Leads the Jets to the Super Bowl without a guarantee. And then you talk about finishing it up. A martial arts instructor. Shout out to Cobra Kai, Karate Kid. Jet Blue is now changed to Jet Green. Shout out to his uncle. So you have to like the way that he matured, even with the white hair and the headband. All things point to Zack Wilson having tremendous success in New York.
Yeah, I mean, that was like some Anderson Cooper flow that he had going on there. I love the gray look there on Zack Wilson. It's hard for him to look bad, man. He's got the look, that's for sure. When you look at the Jets, you heard it in that piece about his fit there with LaFleur. You like it? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Oh, I like it. And more importantly, I like what Robert Saleh said. Hey, the organization is going to lift you up, not the other way around. Too often we get that messed up. The team has to build up the quarterback. Can't wait to see what Joe D and crew do.
Yeah, they've done a nice job of building up around him. I like Elijah Vera Tucker at guard next to Becton. They have a good offensive line in place. They've got a stable of backs. Corey Davis on the outside, Denzel Mims to go along with Elijah Moore. I like what the Jets are building here for your young quarterback. And we like the fact that you hung with us here on Move the Sticks. Don't forget to check out the podcast, NFL.com/podcast. We'll catch you there. We've got all your football needs covered. We appreciate you being with us here on Move the Sticks.
Immediately you recognize the talent level.
That's a touchdown for Justin Fields.
You can see the athleticism in him early.
For the back of the end zone, what a throw.
You knew you had somebody that was pretty special.
He's got that it factor.
Sometimes you think he's supernatural.
Oh my goodness, touchdown.
He's very steady, doesn't get rattled.
You know, the team that gets Justin's going to really like what he brings to the table.
Hey everyone, it's Daniel Jeremiah from Move the Sticks.
And I'm Bucky Brooks, and this is Justin Fields 360.
With the 11th pick, my Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
Well, I know Bears fans are fired up. Our good buddy Kyle Brandt being one of them there on Good Morning Football. You can't hide his joy with Justin Fields being the new quarterback there. Something we've been talking a lot about on the Move the Sticks podcast. You see it there at the bottom of the screen. You can find that NFL.com/podcast or your favorite pod provider. All right, Buck, we've got a deep dive today.
Yeah, deep dive. We have an opportunity to catch up with Ohio State coach Ryan Day for his thoughts on Justin Fields and his future. We were talking about when will Justin Fields actually get on the field and how will he answer his critics when he does have his opportunity to play for the Bears.
Yeah, and we're going to jump right in here to the beginning, the early portion of Justin Fields' athletic career, which consisted not only of him excelling on the football field, but also on the baseball field. A special athlete, it was known pretty early.
What was it like the first time that you met Justin at a camp or your first interaction?
I met Justin at a youth camp as well, and Justin was a little short, stocky kid. He was always built, and he was playing travel baseball, and I can remember he always was athletic, and he was able to move really well.
It was so cool for me to know the backstory of his life, just how involved he was in baseball, how much baseball he played. To me, right off the bat, that just, as a coach, I see, wow, there's so much I can do with that background. All these guys that come from other sports, immediately you know, oh my gosh, if he has this in his background, here's what I can do if he has this in his background. So it's been really cool to know that about Justin and push him in some areas because he can make those off-script, sliding left, make those tough throws because of that background that he has.
Fields zips it to him for a touchdown. In the tightest of windows, Fields able to thread it.
Baseball, football, just smart, just knew how to play the game, great hitter. He probably, could have went to the next level in baseball, and I know that's kind of what I think his dad was hoping, but his heart was set on football. It always was.
Turn, get your eyes around. Good, Justin.
Oh.
Nice!
Don Rice Smith, see back line. On 1-on-1, ready?
All right, here we go.
Deep ball with Justin Fields, just like that. Another touchdown. What a pass and what a snag.
And you couldn't ask for a better pass.
We love quarterback development. We love how it's growing in the space, but more than that, we love dual sport athletes. 96% of NFL starting quarterbacks were dual sport athletes in high school. He's an elite dual sport athlete. He's an elite football player and elite baseball player too. So I think that cross training, the ability to play in big moments in different sports, Justin's done. He's checked those boxes at an early stage of life, and I think it gives him a distinct advantage whenever you put him on a stage that might be too big for some people.
What was the one thing you take away from this week that'll help you on the high school football field this year?
Really just the main thing, just tying my feet with my eyes and just really just going through the progressions. So out there we run a lot of pure progression plays, which means we have a 1, 2, 3. So just really just getting on the same page with my guys and just reading the play out.
Just to watch him drop back and throw the ball down the field, you knew you had somebody that was pretty special. And anytime you have a quarterback that can throw the ball the way he could, you know that good things are in store.
Touchdown, oh my goodness.
Just to coach him in high school, there wasn't really anything we couldn't do. And we really changed the offense to suit him his junior year, and he just really flourished. It's like the first time we put in power read, he went 60 yards to the house.
Fields takes it, he's got it at the 40, 35-30, 25-20.
Now, having a quarterback like Justin Fields, you thought outside the box.
Unbelievable.
It's everything he did, he just took it to another level. He likes to be challenged. He definitely likes to hear the critics. He just soaks it all in. And usually when people are trash talking about him for a while, you're going to see a great outcome. It just makes him work that much harder. I mean, he's just a lot different than what his teammates, when it came to just focusing and just being more mature. He just always wanted to continue to get better. You know, that's what he always wanted to do, and he was never satisfied. I really think his senior year, he knew the offense so well that it was a good thing that he left halfway through the year and went to Georgia, because I think he was getting bored just with high school. You know, he needed a new challenge.
I'll tell you what, I don't know about you, Buck, but I'm watching those highlights and I'm seeing him in high school, and that looks like a grown man out there on that field. And I know you know from having coached him up there at the Elite 11 event that this was something that was easy to see from a mile away.
Yeah, really easy to see from a mile away. I think what you have to understand is Justin Fields has big-time talent, and that talent has always been on display. We can talk about his exploits on the baseball diamond, but the success that he had on the baseball diamond certainly impacts the way that he plays on the football field. We've talked to coaches about a quarterback having middle infielder hands. You see the transition. You see how easy it is for him to make these platform throws on script, off script, inside the pocket, outside the pocket. However he needs to layer the ball, he can do all of those things. A very special player, and we can't talk enough about multi-sport athletes. Man, there is something different about a guy who can take all the skills that he develops and cultivates in other areas and put them into play on the football field, particularly at quarterback. Justin Fields is a remarkable prospect. He's an outstanding player.
Yeah, my final thought on that, too, is just when you listen to that interview, I was talking to him there after that Elite 11 event where you coached him to a championship in that 7-on-7 tournament, just talking to him, the composure and the poise for somebody at that age who's going into his final season in high school was just absolutely off the charts. And I think we both knew at that point in time we'd be talking about this kid again. Still to come on Move the Sticks 360.
Down the field. Touchdown!
From Georgia to Ohio State, we dive into the development of Justin Fields.
He's very poised, very steady, doesn't get rattled. He's 6'3", he's 225 pounds, he's smart, he's really, really accurate. Okay, can we coach? I said, because you can't ask for anything more than this.
Welcome back to Move the Sticks. Man, Justin Fields is a guy who certainly understands how to put the ball in the paint. There you see 78 total touchdowns since 2019, most in FBS. And when you look at the list, you talk about some very talented playmakers at the quarterback position. Justin Fields arguably might be the best when it comes to scoring.
They're right there on the top of that list. But I'll tell you what, Buck, it's not a surprise to those who know him well. They saw these talents from day one.
What were your first thoughts when you saw Justin Fields for the first time?
Rare physical specimen.
You watch him on tape and you just see this strong, powerful, like so hard to bring down in the pocket.
Immediately you recognize the talent level is just off the charts.
Zips it downfield. That's a touchdown for Justin Fields. Night for Fields.
He didn't get a chance to play very much as a freshman at Georgia. So, we started with a little bit of a blank slate that way. And when he got here, he picked things up very quickly. He learns very well. He's very intelligent, very talented. And to me, I looked at it like this. He's 6'3", he's 225 pounds, he's smart, he's really accurate. Okay, can we coach? That's it, because you can't ask for anything more than this.
Coach, he always seems so serious and so businesslike. I just want to know, is he laughing? Is he having fun? He just seems so serious-minded.
That's him. And he'd tell you that he feels most comfortable like that. But there was a few times where this year he would post a few things with the teammates dancing and fun and letting loose.
He's a leader. His first year with me, he was new to Ohio State, and he still came in, and you could see him grow as a leader. Towards the end of the year, he was leading the team. And then this past year, you could just see it. He was commanding everyone.
He's a guy that can physically do everything, but doesn't rely on that all the time. So he's a passer as long as he can be a passer, and then he'll become an athlete. I don't think that's being talked enough about. I think Justin's a massive weapon in that. And then a craftsman. Most of those guys are the butcher. Very rarely do you find these specimens that are also surgeons. They know how to handle the tiniest tool that can save your life. And he really approaches his craft with a burning desire to get better.
Fields pump fakes again, has room to run. And he will dive for the end zone.
How would you describe the work that Justin puts in the preparation aspect of playing that position?
One thing about Justin in the meeting room is you don't have to tell him something twice. He really picks things up quickly. His recall is very similar to Joe Burrow. He just understands things and then can take it to the field very quickly. I think that's a trait that not a lot of people have.
He's in the film room. He's going to study. He's going to study. He's going to try to find an edge to beat his opponent.
He's already approaching things like a true professional. He's here early. He asks to get extra time in. He gets an opportunity to prepare for his interviews, and he calls me on the phone and says, hey, can you help me kind of prepare this offense? Can we go over this again? Because I want to nail it. And it's been an awesome experience for me to be around him, to be in the film room, to get up on the whiteboard and talk through everything. The team that gets Justin's going to really like what he brings to the table. You can see why a guy like Justin Fields was able to play on such a big stage. You can see why when he goes in a playoff game versus Clemson, he wants that. He wants those moments.
Fields launches downfield in a diving catch. Fields fires into traffic. Touchdown. Drops back. There's a man wide open. It's Rodgers. Touchdown.
I thought he handled the spotlight here very well. I thought he handled himself with the media really well. Really talks about his teammates more than he would talk about himself. He was built for that. I felt like early on, some guys get overwhelmed. He was built for being, like you said, a franchise quarterback. I think he's one of the more competitively tough guys I've been around. I attribute a lot of the traits of the successful quarterbacks who've gone to the NFL are ones that can overcome adversity, that go through tough times. And I think Justin went through adversity through the whole Georgia thing, changing schools. Even when he had the setback last year against Clemson, we lost that game in the 2-minute drill. I thought he handled that with poise. And then all he did was just, spend the next 360 whatever days it was to get back to that game. And that's where the focus was. That's a huge deal with quarterbacks. How do you respond when you have a bad game?
Fields does have time, and now takes off, makes a cut, hits a hard hit, and Fields is down.
The way he responded in that game in the biggest moment, he wasn't going to be denied.
Fields on the run, launches for the end zone, caught for a touchdown. From the pocket, a strike across the middle, caught, touchdown. Launches downfield, Olave, make it 5 touchdowns for Fields tonight. Fields down the field. This is truly special tonight.
I can't tell you there's many quarterbacks that I've been around that would take a shot like that and come back in and go on to play the way he did.
You talk about guts. Justin Fields.
There's going to be ups and downs. And how you handle those ups and downs are going to be critical to your longevity in the league. If you have a bad game, you all of a sudden can't fall apart and self-destruct. And you have to be steady. And that's what he is. Like, he doesn't typically ride the emotional roller coaster. So this is a tough guy who's been very dependable for us.
I've read through all these evaluations of these players. The one biggest thing that lacks in their evaluation is their toughness. This is a position where you have to be a tough guy, physically and mentally. He's a tough man's tough guy. People will point to the playoff and say, oh yeah, we saw him play injured. It's more than that. It's the mental, emotional resolve that he's shown through his high school years, his college years, what happened to him at Georgia, the transfer to Ohio State, the negative talk around him, all the different things that's happened in his life. He's developed a grit and a resolve and a toughness that I will stamp it right now. He'll be a wild success in the NFL because of that.
That's great stuff there, Buck. And I'm with Trent on the toughness aspect of it. I think it's something we've talked about a lot on the podcast in the lead up to the draft, and something that, you talk about checking that box in a big way for Justin Fields.
Absolutely checks it in a big way. And when we talk about toughness, we're not always just talking about physical toughness. We're talking about the mental toughness, meaning, can you handle all the critics coming at you? Can you handle when you're not playing well? Can you get yourself out of that rut? Can you handle the bright lights and the big moment on the big stage? All of those things require a level of toughness. I believe Justin Fields has it. I think he's exhibited it during his time at Ohio State. I can't wait to see what he does when he gets to the Windy City.
Yeah, I think about, the transfer from Georgia to Ohio State, and I look back over the last several drafts, and you see, some of the players like Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow. These guys are all transfers, and I think in some ways it was a challenge for them to go into a new environment with new teammates, new offense, and to see the success that they had there. I think it bodes well for him at the next level once he gets that opportunity. Again, I go through the checklist with Justin Fields, and man, Buck, I don't know where you are, but there's not much missing when you study him.
Yeah, now we're done with all of the pre-draft analysis. There's really not a lot missing. When you look at the matchup and the pairing of him going to Chicago and that stuff, I think they got a guy who certainly checks off the boxes as an athlete, as a thrower, as an overall talent, and also as a tough guy. You got to be a tough guy to play in this city. I think he certainly represents the city of Chicago very well.
Yeah, toughness, not a question with Justin Fields.
Next on Move the Sticks, a new NFL journey begins. How Justin Fields fits with the Chicago Bears.
I think I fit, perfectly. I think if he didn't think I fit well, he wouldn't have traded up. Justin Fields, quarterback, The Ohio State University. I'm very confident in my game.
Talent is off the charts.
Going deep here, Fields. Back in the end zone. What a throw.
Can he escape? Yes.
That's a touchdown for Justin Fields.
Fields launches downfield. He's got a touchdown.
Back in the end zone, touchdown.
He was a 5-star playmaker.
Great throw with great accuracy.
Fields has room to run.
Fields, touchdown.
This kid's a beast.
Justin Fields, absolute stud.
Well, here's Justin Fields on draft night, getting that phone call, realizes the Chicago Bears have traded up to select him. He had a good idea he was going to go early, but I'm not so sure he knew exactly who was going to be on the phone.
I don't think I had, any hints. I had no idea, to be honest with you. So I was confident, in myself. I guess to wherever I ended up, I was gonna, be in the right place for me. I think the kind of player the Bears are getting is a versatile player that can, make plays both with my arm and also with my legs, and of course a smart player, a player that's going to make smart decisions, and a player that, that wants to win, that's willing to do whatever to win. So that's of course my number one job, however that may be, whether, whatever my position may be on the team. I think I fit, perfectly. I think if he didn't think I fit well, he wouldn't have traded up. But I think, just talking to him, getting to know, I guess, how he communicates with his quarterbacks and his learning style, I think that, that's going to make me a better quarterback, a better player. And, he's going to teach me a lot. So I'm just, again, excited to get up there and learn. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of criticism, but, me, at the end of the day, I feel like I know, myself. I know how much work I put in the game. I know how much I love the game. I know how much I want to be great. So it just comes a point in time where you just have to cut, all that criticism out. And of course, it's good to listen to the criticism you get from, people that are, actually there to help you. So if it was from a coach or anything like that, of course, I'm going to take that criticism. But I feel like, of course, there's a lot of, criticism coming from outside voices that didn't really matter. So I just, did my best to kind of cut all that out and really just get to work. So.
Justin, I know you said everything happens for a reason, but I assume you think you belonged among those top 3 quarterbacks. Does that put a chip on your shoulder as you come in to try to prove those guys wrong that didn't pick you earlier? No, not really. I mean, I've gone through situations where I haven't been chosen, and I think the world has seen the outcome of that. But my goal is not to worry about those teams. I mean, those teams have nothing to do with me. My goal is to, if we play that team, to beat them. So I'm not worried about the draft. The draft is over for me. For me personally, I'm ready to get to work.
It's our job to develop him, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that we've taken into this thing is there will be a plan with Justin and with Andy and with Nick and just how we go about this. And I think that's going to be very, very important, is that we understand it. Now, fortunately for myself, Ryan and I have had a bunch of discussions and just talking through scenarios. And as everybody has talked about, I went through that in 2017. So is it going to be the same thing? I don't know, but at least we have some type of blueprint to at least work off of and be able to just kind of use that to start and see where it goes.
Well, you look at the quarterbacks selected by the Bears here, Buck. You see quite a list. Go to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl with Jim McMahon. Rex Grossman came close, right? Got to a Super Bowl there with the Bears. Came up a little bit short against the Colts. But I know one thing: they've never had a quarterback with the ability, the talent level that they have here with Justin Fields.
Yeah, unique talent gives them an opportunity to do a bunch of different things in Chicago. When I look at this team and I look at what they want to do, I mean, it's really fascinating because they have an opportunity to play pro-style football, meaning old school, traditional, under center, while mixing in some shotgun, some zone read. But I think Justin Fields, look, he has the ability to make plays with his legs, but he's a thrower. He wants to get on the move. He wants to throw it. He wants to make the plays with his arm. And so it's about Matt Nagy creating an offense that really elevates and enhances his skill set. I think they have enough time to be able to do that, and there's not a rush to get him on the field with veteran quarterbacks in front of him.
Yeah, and look, they don't have an unbelievable offensive line. I think they're going to be able to change the launch point with him. They're going to be able to boot him, roll him out, get him on the move so that he's not going to have a stationary target back there. And the good thing about Justin is when you do get some free run-throughs, he can create, make things happen.
He absolutely can create and make things happen. We've seen that on numerous occasions. And we understand, like, in this city for this team needs an explosive element on offense. He may be able to give him that with his improvisational skills on the perimeter.
Yeah, I know one thing, man. This Chicago Bears offense for the last couple of years has been tough to watch. It's been one of the most boring teams to watch in the NFL.
Yes.
Those days are over. It's going to be fun watching Justin Fields operate out there. I cannot wait to see it. Thank you guys for hanging with us. You see on the bottom of the screen, you can find the podcast, NFL.com/podcast, or your favorite podcast provider. We have all your football needs covered right here on Move the Sticks. We'll see you next time.